You've probably seen a headline like this, right? Become a billionaire by 2026. It's the kind of thing that definitely grabs your attention. But, beyond the clickbait, there's a real framework for how extreme wealth is actually created. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the core principles that separate just dreaming about it from actually doing it.
So, let's get right to it. Is it really possible? A brand new billionaire in just a couple of years? Well, while that is extremely, extremely rare, the much more important question is this: what kind of thinking and what kind of action would even put you in the game? That's what we're here to unpack. It's less about some magic date on the calendar and way more about a fundamental shift in your entire strategy.
And this slide cuts right through all the noise. We tend to romanticize this stuff, don't we? We think it's all about a lucky break, a sudden burst of motivation, or one brilliant aha moment. But the reality? It's far more systematic. The real pillars of extreme wealth are ownership, leverage, and scale. These aren't feelings. They are financial and strategic engines. All right, let's start with the absolute bedrock of this whole thing. If you take only one thing away from our time here, it should be this principle. The foundation of all extreme wealth is owning value, and it requires the single most important mental shift you can possibly make.
So what do we mean by ownership here? We're not talking about owning a house or a nice car. We're talking about owning assets that can generate value for thousands or even millions of people. This means having equity in a company, owning intellectual property like software or a platform. See, a salary, no matter how high it gets, is always you trading your limited time for money. Ownership completely disconnects your earnings from the hours you put in.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A job has a hard ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day. Ownership, on the other hand, has no theoretical ceiling, because the value you can create through a scalable system is almost limitless. The fundamental question has to change from how much do I earn to what do I own?
Okay, so if ownership is the foundation, how do you build on top of it? Well, you need an engine, and not just any engine, one that's designed for massive exponential growth. And that engine is built on three crucial pillars.
First, the business itself has to be scalable. Second, you have to use technology as a massive force multiplier. And third, all of this incredible effort has to be pointed at solving a problem that is big enough to matter. These three things work together. If you're missing one, the others just can't reach their full potential.
So what does a scalable business really look like today? Well, think about businesses where you can serve a brand new customer for almost zero additional cost. Software is the classic example, right? Whether you have 10 users or 10 million, the core product doesn't really change. AI tools, marketplaces like Airbnb, and media businesses all share this incredible quality.
That second pillar is technology, and it is the ultimate form of leverage. We're talking specifically about AI and automation here. This is how you replace human inefficiency with systems that can run 24/7. Billionaires don't just work harder. They build systems that work for them at a scale no human team could ever hope to match.
And finally, what kind of problem are you actually solving? Because small problems create small companies. Billion-dollar outcomes come from solving massive, painful problems. I mean, think about how hard it was to get a ride home late at night before Uber came along, or that feeling of uncertainty when shopping online before Amazon built a whole system of trust. The bigger and more painful the problem, the more people will pay you for a solution.
Now, having the right business model and all the tech isn't enough. Not even close. This journey requires a very specific mindset. It's a combination of incredible long-term vision and just relentless short-term discipline. This duality is so crucial. You have to be able to ask, what will still be true and valuable 10 years from now, while also asking, what is the single most important thing I can get done today? That long-term vision stops you from getting distracted by shiny objects, and the daily execution is what actually builds the momentum.
And this might be the hardest part for so many people. It's the discipline to delay gratification on an extreme level. Jeff Bezos is famous for this, right? He reinvested nearly every single dollar of Amazon's profit back into the business for years and years. That capital, when it's compounded through reinvestment, creates a kind of growth that spending on a comfortable lifestyle just never could.
You also figure out pretty quickly you can't do it alone. Big goals require big resources. So what attracts those resources? The best people, the smartest money? It's a clear and compelling vision. When people truly believe in where you're going, they want to help you get there. Trust and clarity scale faster than anything else.
And let's be really clear about the trade-off here. This path is not comfortable. It involves immense risk,
public criticism, financial stress, and the constant feeling of uncertainty. The people who succeed aren't fearless. They're just willing to keep moving forward in spite of that fear.
So, after all of this, let's bring it back to that initial headline. It's time to redefine the goal, to move away from a kind of vanity metric and towards something far more powerful and, frankly, more achievable.
So, what is the real objective then? If that flashy number isn't the point, what should you actually be aiming for? The answer is a much, much better target.
This is it. This is the actual starting line. The goal isn't a number in a bank account by a certain date. The real goal is to be on the right trajectory. It's to own meaningful equity in something that is growing fast, to have control over your own time and your destiny, and to be positioned where exponential growth isn't just possible, it's probable. This is how every billionaire's journey actually begins.
And that brings us to the most crucial point of all. Forget the timeline. Focus on the trajectory. When you build something based on ownership, scale, and a long-term vision, the wealth becomes an outcome of the system you've created, not a deadline you're racing against. So the final question isn't, how do you get rich quick? It's, are you on a path that makes extreme wealth inevitable?